Hello there, everyone. Alexman here, and welcome back to another revisit. And since it's kind of like an anniversary for my YouTube channel, it's only fitted to do a game that is literally lost to time, and that is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Yes, and I am playing it on NSO for ease of access and everything, folks. As you know, the original playthrough I did this game many years ago was essentially done with the GameCube original, or the GameCube Master Disc version. And and oddly enough, it's this is just easier for me to play, honestly. And thanks I have an actual N64 style controller, this actually might be easier for me to play overall. Now, this is going to be technically like, sort of like the same thing, more or less, the playthrough that we did last time. It's just going to be more consistent, really, with, you know, better updates and everything else from there. But I hope you guys will be able to enjoy the show as we go into one of what many people call the best Zelda game of all time. So let's go. I'm gonna go with our one file, and I forget that everything on the N64 is not controlled by the D-pad. I mean, it's just like, yep, it's control stick. Because it is 3D time. I'm going to use that control stick from others. We're going to go as Alexman for our adventure, because that is what we named it initially. And I want to try to keep things kind of consistent. So let's go with that. And let's see what this story begins with an actual backstory. In the vast deep forests of Hyrule, long have I served as the guardian spirit. I am known as the Deku Tree. The children of the forest, the Kokori, live here with me. Each Kokori has his or her own guardian fairy. However, there is one boy who does not have a fairy. I pity him. He hadn't had a fairy in many years. And this game, folks, does deal a lot with more of a dream aesthetic. And knowing that I'm making a Zelda, basically fan fiction at the moment, that's dealing around the time this game timeline is wise, it's always fun to get new, fresh ideas to get the fanfiction all around too, so bear in mind that. Navi, Navi, where art thou? Come hither. O Navi the fairy, listen to my words, the words of the Deku Tree. Dost now sense it, the climate of evil descending upon this realm. Malevolent forces even now are mustering to attack our land of Hyrule. For so long, the Kokori Forest, the source of life, has stood as a barrier, deterring outsiders and maintaining the order of the world. But, with all this tremendous evil power, even my power is nothing. It seems the time has come for the boy without a fairy to begin his journey. And guess who is its fairy? Oh no, yep, it's you, Navi. Now go fight him. The youth whose destiny is to lead Hyrule to the path of justice and truth. Navi, go now, find our young friend, and guide him to me. I do not have much time left. Fly, Navi, fly, for the fate of the forest, nay, the world depends upon thee. And we get the glorious, panning shot of we're on the N64 with this. Again, a lot of games back in the heyday of the 3D generation jump wanted to show that the camera could go anywhere and anywhere. And this is kind of apparent too. Now, just like I've said in previous Zelda games beforehand, this game also had a manga tied to it as well. It was actually a kind of a weird manga setup. It was actually sold originally in 2 different volumes, but nowadays it's actually sold as one complete volume that you can get anywhere, and it's like the remastered collection for it. And it's actually a pretty good read. as it basically goes into the backstory of most of, if not everything the game has to offer, and more lore to the story. Hello, Alexman. Wake up! The Great Danger Tree wants us to talk to you. Alexman, get up! 5 more minutes. Hey, come on! Can Hyrule's destiny really depend on such a lazy boy? Goodness me! The future is ruined and... what was it? 7 a.m. in the morning? Could you wait just at least 1 hour more? Goodness, I can never wake up late. You finally woke up. I'm Navi the fairy. The Great Deku Trees asked me to be your partner from now on. Nice to meet you. Cool, I finally have a fairy. Finally, was it like been what, 7 years? I haven't had a fairy, and now you finally got one. Yay! The Great Deku Tree has summoned you. Let's get going right now. Right. I must not disappoint the Great Deku Tree, even though I feel like I've been disappointed from basically most of my life, if anything. So we're introduced to ourselves to Kikori Forest is our main tutorial area. The big introduction to our best friend in the entire village, Terraria. Yahoo! Hi, Alexman. Hi there! You woke up early, huh, too? Let me see if I can jump down here. Yeah, there we go. Flashy move. Does he speak here? Wow, a fairy! Finally, a fairy has come to you. Wow, that's such great news. I'm happy for you. Now you're a true Kikori. Though the fact is that you're getting taller by the day, but I'm not going to bother by that. Is that right, though? The Great Deku Tree has summoned you? It's quite an honor to talk to the Great Deku Tree. I talk to him all the time. But anyway, I'll let you talk to him for the first time in forever. Get going. Go see the Great Deku Tree. Right. So, like I said, folks, the controls for this game is that, the control stick is meant to help movement around. The Z button, or at least from the original controller, the Z button allows you to do the Z targeting move. And nowadays, we have it on the left trigger button, so now it's called the L targeting, which doesn't have as much of a grandiose function as Z targeting. We also have on our HUD, our hearts to the left, how much money we have on the bottom left. We have basically what our item slots here for the bottom 3 of the buttons. The B button for context sensitive, and A buttons for everything else. We also have our map and everything else. Also, Navi is going to be your navigation. She can help you out when you need a hint. She'll basically come out at any time, basically it's inconvenient for you to activate the button. But the fact is that there's so many other hints that they give you in the game, it's kind of like 3 different hints for the same hint, and it's kind of weird. We also begin the unfortunate jerk of this endeavor area. Hey you, Mr. No Fairy, what's your business with the Great Deku Tree? You're not a fairy, you're nothing, not a real man. Wait, you've got a fairy? Say what? The Great Deku Tree actually summoned you? What? Why would he summon you and not the Great Mido? This isn't funny. I don't believe it. You aren't even fully equipped yet. How do you think you're going to help the Great Deku Tree without both a sword and a shield? Ready? What? You're right. I haven't bought my copy of Sword and Shield either, but geez. If you want to pass through here, you should at least equip a sword and a shield. Jeez. Alright, geez, Mido. Yeah, Mido is kind of the aforementioned leader of the Kikori, though I think that's a self-given title, by technicality. In the manga, he actually tries to be the leader, but he's always one-up by Link in every shape of the word. But I mean, if you have not read the Zelda mangas, I would say give them a good read if you can find them. They're all everywhere at like every bookstore nowadays. Like I mentioned back in the day was like trying to find these mangas. Like man, I tell you, like the Twilight Princess manga, I didn't even know was a thing until I basically saw it online one day on Amazon. I'm like, wait a minute, there's a Twilight Princess manga, and it came out the same year. Or at least the first volume of it came out the same year as Twilight Princess HD. I mean, goodness gracious, I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I mean, that's such a cool, like, kind of thing that a lot of fans don't know and understand that the mangas are a thing. And it's like, I say it right now, the mangas are actually one of the best. I've said this on multiple playthroughs of the Zelda game stuff thus far, and the revisits and everything else, is that the mangas, I believe, are basically one of the best ways to experience a game, technicality. Like, I'd say play the game first of the proposed manga, and then go read the manga itself. And then you'll have a really better understanding of what the game actually contains. Because technicality, in the mangas, Link gets a voice. He talks. So it basically makes the story all better. Speaking of better, we now got the Kikori sword on the equipment sub-screen. Select with the cursor and click with A. This is a hidden treasure of the Kikori, but you can borrow it for a while. Be sure to practice it before you really fight. Alright, so we have to hit the start button, and unfortunately, we're not playing the 3DS version, so we have to deal with this. Now, it's kind of weird in the selection screen that it was Z for left and just R for right. It's kind of weird in that regard. Let's equip our sword. No, not save yet. Well, not save yet. It's kind of weird how to get out of that menu and everything. We have to watch out for our first little endeavor with a boulder here. Watch out for it. But we have our Kikori sword. It basically has basic range for our melee attacks. And basically now we can now cut bushes for rupees. Now we have to get 40 rupees in order to continue on with our adventure, because the shop only sells swords, only sells shields, but not swords. Now we must find our way to get around this place. But also, in fact, with the sword equipped now, we can now use Z targeting moves and lock onto an enemy. And so that way we can basically keep the enemy on our hands so we can actually fight them with ease. It's actually kind of an ingenious system. The fact is, there were 3D games before Ocarina of Time, like, PlayStation 1 came out before this, technically. And it was kind of rough to get, 3D gaming to work. Like, Lara Croft tried to portray the whole, 3D gaming aesthetic, but basically it was Ocarina of Time that really situated the whole idea of, hey, you know what? How about we actually find a way to lock the camera onto something you want to succeed on? So I think initially they didn't have it when they were making the game initially, but then they just came up with it and they're like, you know what? This is useful. We want to use this. And we want to come in here because this gives us our monies, at least a 1 rupee, and I think a few 5s and a heart. So the rupee count in this game is kind of different. Green gives you 1 rupee, blue gives you 5, red gives you 20, and I believe 10 is yellow. But I don't think yellow is in this game, though. But there is basically the golden rupees, which give you a ton of rupees by technicality. But overall, the game is very generous with money now in this game. So you're never going to be out of money for very long, if that's the case. Especially in this area where you basically are required to explore the area and get enough money to do it. Sorry, what's going on? What, Mino won't let you go through to see the Great Deku Tree? That jerk, that bum? Oh, I don't know why he's always so mean to everyone. Yeah, I think he's got a superiority complex, honestly. I'm not sure what that means, but what he said is true, though. The forest, strange things have been happening here lately. You need to be ready for anything. You better find a weapon. You can buy a shield at the shop, but there's only 1 sword hidden somewhere in the forest. Sounds like you already have it. I do indeed. Anyway, we gotta go cut some more bushes down so we can get some more monies. Let's see. Cutting bushes down will basically generate money and everything. Now, if folks are understanding, I'm not actually going after everything in this game. Not all the gold skulltulas. I'm going after a few of them if I catch them on the way. But I'm not going my way out to grab them and get them all the way across. The only reason you get from them is basically completionist rolls, and you don't really get much of anything else from it. You just basically get, slight reward, and then you just get this whole idea of, well, you get yourself, endless amounts of money for a game that's not really needing a lot of money nowadays. Because that's weird. That's what Twilight Princess did too, and it was kind of dumb in that regard. Alright, look this way. Look over here with Z and talk with me with A. Alright. That's what Navi can do. Navi can basically lock on to people and basically, hey, you can talk with them for far distances. Yes, that's how you use a fairy. It's so great that you finally have a fairy partner. I'll teach you how to talk to people using your fairy. When a fairy flies near a person or a thing, press Z to look in that direction. If you use Z targeting, you can talk to people from a distance, like we're doing now. When you have nothing that you can target, you can just press Z and to look forward. Try it. I would, but I'm going in the shop now. This is basically a more thing about the game. Basically, the game is going to give you all the stuff you're going to need in a particular area of wherever shop you are. But like I said, you got to get 40 rupees in order to get this thing here, the Deku Shield. It's made out of wood, which means it can burn. You got a Deku Shield. Switch to the equipment subscreen and select the equipment to shield. Press A to equip it. Press R to crouch and defend. If you press R while Z targeting, you can move while defending. We don't have any money for that left. What you got there is basically Deku Nuts and Deku Seeds for an item we do not have yet, which is really sad. We come back behind the shop here. There's a 5 rupee if you need extra cash for rare reason. But we need to equip our shield though, so that Malo can get us around here. Let's get this in here. There we go. Alright, let's get over here. And now Link technically can swim. Unlike the 2D games where you have to learn how to get like you know, flippers or something like that to water, Link can naturally swim in this game. It's only the fact is that that particular legacy item is the little fins, the little what was it, fins or whatnot? Scales. You have to collect 2 of them if you want to deep into the deepest depths of the waters though. Alright, Milo, I've got the stupid sword and shield. I got my copy, where's yours? If you want to see the great Deku Tree, you better at least equip a sword and a shield. Eh? What's that? Oh, you have a Deku shield. And what's that? Is that the Kokori sword? Good grief. Ugh. Well, even with all that stuff, a whip is still a whip, huh? I'm the great Mido. We'll never accept you as one of us, even though you've been here for 7 years, but I still don't care. Shoot, how did you get to be a favorite of Sari and the great Deku Tree, huh? Grumble, grumble. Oh, so you're a grumble, grumble guy. Well, that makes more sense. Anyway, in the manga, Mido is trying to basically be friends with Saria because they feel like, you know, he wants to be in love with Saria, you know, as childless kids would be technically, and Link basically has a natural charisma that almost every girl falls for him. And it happens in the manga too, as well as in this game, so bear that in mind. So we get ourselves here, and we see our first enemy, Deku Babas. And we get ourselves our first item, the stick. I got a stick! You on the sub screen, you can select it to one of the 3 C buttons. Set it to C and swing with C, and now basically a bird. You can use it as a torch and everything else for that matter, so bear no mind. You can hold up to 10. And unfortunately, I think only young Link can hang on to sticks. I do not think adult Link can hang on to sticks. It's like the same thing for like a lot of stuff really in this game, that a lot of stuff is going to handle for young Link and someone's going to handle for adult Link later on, and it just feels kind of outdated, especially for when you have to upgrade those things. Great Deku Tree, I'm back! Oh, Navi, thou hast returned. Alexman, welcome. Listen carefully to what I, the great Deku Tree, is about to tell thee. Thy slumber these past moons must have been restless and full of nightmares. As servants of evil gain strength, a vile climate pervades the land and causes nightmares to those sensitive to it. Verily thou hast felt it. Alexman, the time has come for you to test thy courage. I have been cursed. I need you to break the curse with your wisdom and courage. Does thou have the courage enough to undertake this task? I guess so. Then enter, brave Alexman. Thou too, Navi. Navi the fairy, thou must aid Alexman. And Alexman, when Navi speaks, use the up button on the C buttons to listen well to her words of wisdom, and she'll annoy you almost every 5 seconds. Alrighty, folks, I guess that's it for us here. Right now, we're going to go into our first dungeon of the game. Let's go see what the Great Deku Tree is all about. Let's go.